Um, I literally was to the point to, I will say this before we get into it, of watching the Bears now, where I don't even get emotional. I'm not even yelling at the screen or
Yeah.
anything anymore. I'm like, um, been beaten down, so to speak.
Did you see the video of the bar reaction to the Hail Mary? And there's the one guy just sitting at the table, like, just kind of like he almost was like, I expected that.
Yeah.
Like
Yep,
that's where I'm at.
yeah, exactly. I know honestly that it uh hasn't came back after that throw. Really,
Yeah.
to the feeling again. Because we were in that game and everyone's crowning Jaden Daniels. He threw one lucky pass.
Right.
He had another. He had a couple good passes. I'm not going to say he didn't, but at the same time, they weren't scoring touchdowns. Ever since then, though, everyone's shut down. And the play calling, like we just mentioned, it's like, how do you look so good until the bye week, and then just to what we were, where we were barely. I mean, we have the NFL longest active streak without a touchdown.
Right.
20 something drives. It's insane. Teams are accidentally getting touchdowns. You watch college football, and there's one of the games this week. There was two strip sixes, fumble sixes. So in like 3 minutes, there was like 20 points scored in that game.
Yeah.
And we can't even get one.
Yeah.
We got one field goal. So yeah, the numbers are abysmal. 16 for 30. Caleb Williams, as far as the total, 120 yards, just nothing there. No touchdowns. Longest was 18 yards. Running for his life again. Green passes on 4th down and 4s. I just don't know. There's been 2 offensive coordinators fired this year. You know who they are?
Ours and then
Luke Getsy, the other one of ours from last year. I mean, what are we doing? We're picking. I mean, and which is, I think, I like Eberflus as a coach.
yeah.
Coach, he doesn't know how to pick offensive guys.
Yeah. And I think he yeah.
Twice, I think, and they said, "No, we're going to go with Shane Waldron." Or no, Shane Waldron was the only one that got 2 callbacks.
Right.
Ow.
Yeah.
I think I did send you a list of all the guys that we had interviewed for this offensive coordinator position. And, it was a pretty nice list.
Yeah, it really was. Cliff Kingsbury was super exciting to see on that list, and I don't know why they just were like, no, that's fine.
And then, and that's part of it. Eberflus talking about, we had to let him go because there wasn't good communication during the game and these situations. And literally when they hired him, it was like, because he communicated with us the best. That was what they said about him. His communication was so clear and concise. It's like,
well, that's because he was scared he was getting run out of Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah. He was desperate for a job. What do you need to hear, sir?
JSN's reaction was what tells all when he was asked about how Chicago Bears fans should react to Shane Waldron. Oh, is this live? Oh, he's a good dude. He's good looking. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Nothing about his ability. He's just good luck.
I'm not even like wanting the new guy to be cute. I just want to get good back at the fundamental things, like the power runs and the run passes and
yeah,
PO style stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It wasn't ever cohesive. You never got a rhythm going. Right. It's going to be up there. I want that first drive. It better be good. I'm saying that right now. Like, your audition is now, so.
Yeah.
And our fan base is already antsy, man. Because now people are saying there's rumors that they're asking for Tyson Badgett in the locker room to start.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense to me, to be honest.
I take that with a grain of salt. It's like, who? So if that's what you think, step up and say that. Like, who is it? No saying that.
Yeah, that would make zero sense to me, to be honest.
Tyson had a couple good games, but he also had some terrible games.
Yeah.
I mean, where made Justin Fields look like he was, the better option.
Right. Yeah.
And this Patriots team isn't a great team, but they were better coached than us for sure. I think. I just don't understand how it's all on the line for you, and it's the product you put out there.
Right.
Where was our running? So our rushing.
We got a comment too on the stream that fire Flus. So
I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like we should fire Flus. He's picked lame duck offensive coordinators, and he allowed this to happen for 3 games repeatedly. I mean, after that Washington game, we should have came back like twice as strong. You know what I mean? To me, anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that it was so lost. It's just the fall off is crazy. Like the whole team after that one play just gave up on everything, and it's just so weird.
No character or style on offense at all. You know what I mean? It's like no identity really. Like I can tell you like Baltimore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got that. I mean, have a linebacker for the running back, so you can kind of guess what they're doing. Everything from that power run up the middle kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But they have an identity. It's like, what is our identity? I don't even know. Even during those games we were good, it was like, what was it really? You know? And it was kind of run more than it was pass.
Right.
When Caleb, I think, has them guessing a little bit the defense, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
When they just tee off, I mean, so I know we released Nate Davis and we talked about that, and it's like, you know, kind of a weird thing. He had to go probably because of the locker room, I would guess.
Yeah.
Evan Jenkins is not going to be reliably out there.
No, which I feel bad for because, like, I like him and he's great when he's available. It sucks he just nonstop gets hurt.
I think he is one of our best linemen, but you're not even getting him for full games.
No.
They have to sit out a driver here or there because every time it's like, man, you know, we almost have to have a better backup because we know he's going to have to be in. So I think he's one of our better linemen, and we got to address, is he the guy, you know?
Right.
It doesn't seem like reliably he can be there every game. But maybe a guy like that is a great backup if you have somebody that's reliable there, you know? And he can play multiple positions on the line, so
yeah,
it's also. Rushing was abysmal too. We had 4 guys rush for 20 attempts for 73 yards, averaging 3.7 yards. Our longest was 10. Of course, no touchdowns there either. Caleb spreads the ball around pretty good. There was 7 different receivers. Nothing too spectacular.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that pisses off DJ Moore, which is crazy.
Yeah. I think his frustration is warranted because, again, you have this man 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage catching the ball and then just getting away lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
hope his frustration is that and not his teammates out there.
Yeah.
And also he's suffering in the same fate, really, you know. None of them look good because of this. I just don't see how you sit there and watch the Patriots scheme up stuff to make sure Drake May can get the ball out and let everyone run through the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get some of that might be on Caleb, but also like know what you have. He's a rookie quarterback trying to figure this out.
I don't remember who the broadcasters were for the game, but even they were pointing out, like, they would go to the plays and point out nobody's open. And by the time somebody's in there to sack Caleb, nobody's open. So it's not like he could get it out.
We were talking about that during the game, and to me, that's like scheme a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's teams like where you can say receivers just run right in front of each other, so it's almost a pick play, but you don't pick them, right? But it slows them down because illegal contact and all this stuff. None of that. It's just run straight up. You do this. It's like where's the style? Where's the Shanahan or Ben Johnson? I mean, that guy is just playing around. It's like a Madden. It's like playing Madden out there with his offense now, you know?
Yeah.
And still winning these amazingly close battles at the end too, which is where I thought that team really lacked was in like time management and then just going forward on 4th downs and weird spots and stuff. But they kind of got all that cleaned up now.
Right.
in division, it's not looking good for us.
No, and it's going to be a
That
long trip too, because it's. I mean, everybody's there to stay for the most part. I think you're. I mean, the Vikings. We kind of have to see what JJ McCarthy is, or if they keep Sam Darnold. But
Sam
which
Darnold obviously vulnerable.
yeah,
Jared Goff looked vulnerable, but 5 interceptions and still winning the game.
yeah, that's crazy. That is when I flipped that game on and saw that, I was like, what the? How the hell does that happen?
They played one of the guys in the fantasy league had Jared Goff, and that's what actually had me win because Jared Goff, he had Jared Goff as a quarterback, and it played so bad
yeah,
because I was doomed. He had at one point like a 90% chance to win, and Jared
yeah.
Goff threw options, and it was like, so I pulled it off.
It probably still got tight at the end with what he did in the end of the game.
That
It probably still got tight towards the end with how he ended the game, though.
because he went off a little bit to like get him to keep him no touchdown. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
just a goal that won it for him. So,
Right.
but I was hoping a Lions loss would kind of because they looked terrible that first half. It was like, yay,
Yeah.
make me feel better about the Bears not being. Yeah, the Bears playing so bad. Like I can't even enjoy Green Bay looking bad in some points or the Lions.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the wild card's going to come from our division, probably, right?
Yeah. I mean, at one point in the beginning of the season, it was the entire North would be in the playoffs. Obviously, that's changed quite a bit now, but I still think
I mean, it depends on what we have going
yeah.
moving forward with the offensive coordinator. I think there's some key missing pieces like that Billings on the line,
Yeah.
but Eberflus is a good defensive coach, and if you're moving the ball and scoring points, defense is a lot better shape. Our
Yeah.
defense for sure. It's
Keep
elite.
him off the field. Give him some
right.
time.
I mean, I can't tell you what our third down percentage was, but it was not good at all. I mean, we had a lot of third downs and a lot of 3 and outs.
Yeah.
So that being said, that I think that if we can move the ball and just it doesn't even have to be touchdowns, just get a rhythm going, keep the ball for a little bit. That's in one of the games. I think it might have been the Jaguars games. One of our drives was 7 minutes long. That's half of the quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like if you do that, it doesn't matter if you're scoring points. They're
Right.
definitely not.
Yeah. They don't have the ball. And the defense gets rested up.
Yeah, and then I think that was the game. Montez Sweat was like, I wanted to go back out there and do more, but have the chance. So you need that. I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it sound because everything kind of feeds itself, And
Yeah.
look at the league week to week, right? Who would have thought? One of the teams now that are looking good, like Washington,
Yep.
like the Vikings, and the Vikings look like the Vikings. They didn't score a touchdown. They have a kicker that they just got off the street.
Yeah.
And they won.
Their guy like tore something in his knee or hurt his knee, right? Tweaked it.
He's actually an Alabama guy, so
Yeah.
I follow him. You know what I mean? I don't root for him because he's a Viking, but I do know where most of the Alabama players go, and he's like the highest scoring player of Alabama of all time.
Yeah. Which I always
So-
find it funny when the
And it's a kicker, but it's
Yeah.
like Robbie.
oh
He's just like reliable that like he always scored points.
you know what's funny is we had such a bad game we didn't do it by the numbers.
Oh,
Like they didn't even do one for this week. Like nothing
by the numbers,
happened.
It was bad.
Yeah.
3
points we had.
So I'm hoping Zach Pickens steps up in that Billings place, because that's who's got to step up there. And then I think Jaquan Brisker coming back. Tyler Gordon got burnt a little bit from the last game, I believe.
But I also feel without Brisker, he's asked to do more because he's better at that linebacker, quick blitzer. I feel like than he is kind of coverage. Like he's good at. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he's an awful coverage guy, but I feel like he's when he's asked to do more of the coverage side of things. I don't see him as well as when he's more of the blitzer, kind of key gadget guy that runs the crazy blitzes or kind of hangs out and watches for a spy or something like that.
Yeah, and I think when you know your offense can go out there and score, you take those chances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause you're worried about them scoring like we have been. We go like 8, but not disciplined. You know?
Right.
Let's tell them about Dead Threads real quick, and then we'll talk about this offensive coordinator stuff. Actually, do you think that it's enough,
The firing of Waldron?
Aldrin? And is it enough for that offense?
We'll see after this week.
We're gonna see, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what is your thoughts?
I don't.
Or is it Eberflus the overarching culture?
I think this week will prove, but in my opinion, as of right now, like I obviously don't get to see inside the locker room this week, and you don't get to see until Sunday what happens during the game. To me, he lost. Like, it's pretty bad that he lost the entire team, and
defense, because they were just letting guys run for 50 yards for touchdowns, and you know what I mean, like that stuff that wasn't
right. We had a bad run up the middle defense, but it wasn't that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand it on offense, but not on defense, because that was like our forte. What we were lead at.
Right.
So I think that first drive of this week,
yeah,
Green Bay home, that first offensive drive is going to tell me what is your first 15.
Yeah.
What have you been scripting? What have you been working on? Those are your 15 best. That's what they were saying during this last game. That's how they can. That's why some of the guys on the NFL Network were blaming offensive coordinator, because they're like, your first 15. The Bears are the worst offense in the league on their first drive scoring.
Yeah.
Worst. Or in the top 3 for sure. So that being said, it's like that is, and they said that's the offensive coordinator, because you script that. That's what you practice all week. Those are your best. They're your best stuff. And that's how you gauge the rest of the game, what you're going to do. And there was no continuity, no character, just look like the same stuff. Keep running into this wall until the wall crumbles, instead of figuring out a way around the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's tell them about Dead Threads. You're all about expressing yourself through what you wear, then you got to check out Dead Threads. They got the most wicked collection of t-shirts that scream individuality. Want vintage vibes with your favorite team? Dead Threads has a tee for every vibe and occasion, whether you're chilling at home, hitting the streets, or even hosting your own podcast. Use code BARELY for 10% off at Dead Threads. We love Dead Threads. Their shirts are cool. Stand out in the crowd. I've got one on today.
Probably one of my. This and my Hawkeye one are probably my most worn shirts right now.
Nice. I'm about ready to. I mean, the only benefit of the Bears looking like they have at the end of the season is discount Bears gear.
Yeah.
Christmas is usually good. That's why I have 2 Cleo Mack jerseys. I keep getting them for Christmas. I didn't have the heart to tell my wife's grandparents that he had already been traded at that point. I'd let go. When I got the second jersey, the first one was when he's on the team. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really judging that first. Like I said, on as far as the upcoming week against Green Bay, that first drive.
Yeah, the first drive is going to put off a lot of what we are going to be for the rest of the year, I feel like. I feel like Eberflus isn't getting fired till the end of the season, though, if he is getting fired.
He has to, right?
Yeah.
And I don't. You have to go 4-6 in the division to keep your job. To me,
facts. 1% off of every interception Caleb throws is what we just got in the chat. But yeah, I just
no. Interceptions is not the problem.
Yeah.
Lesions.
Yeah.
Fargut's not catching. Nobody is. I mean, nobody's around at all. It's just in an empty area.
Yeah. I feel like he feels like he has to, and one of the I don't remember who I was listening to, so I apologize for that. But I was listening to somebody and they were talking about the point that they've taken his. It's almost like they've made him scared and took away who Caleb Williams was in college. Like, you can't be trying to do all those crazy plays. You can't be trying to force the ball into places. Like, yes, I get you don't want interceptions and stuff, but also that's what makes him good.
And not really using his legs near as much, except
Yeah.
on weird spots. Oh, it's 4th and 6. Let's move the pocket now,
Yeah.
and make the field half the size. Just move to the right. It's like
Yeah.
I don't. That again is like play calling to me. Yeah, because he played a lot looser. Even in those games that we really like looked pretty solid and had a offense moving, he was running a little bit. It was keeping drives going, extending drives. We didn't get in 3rd and long situations, which is like dooming us.
Yeah.
And actually, we're the worst in 3rd and short, like 3rd
Yeah.
and 3. Can't convert on.
I think one of the reasons Bears fans were so excited to get him to is the fact that he is really good at, like in college, he was great at extending the play and making those crazy plays downfield or into tight windows. But like I said, it just looks like he doesn't pull the trigger on him. Like, he looks at him for a second, and if it's not wide open, it's almost like he's not allowed to throw it. And that's not ever going to work in the NFL. Like, you have to throw the ball in tight windows.
And you actually have to anticipate those tight windows, like where it's going to be in a second and a half,
Right.
It's the one thing I do appreciate in this situation is that he's not turning the ball over, which was Justin. I think he's definitely not playing loose, but that can be schemed. You can help that. Like I said, bring in a fullback, put Kmet in the backfield, who you're not using at all. I don't know what Waldron had. I think he just didn't like Notre Dame guys or something. He just underutilized him. That guy should be getting the ball like every 3 downs.
Yeah. He's your safety. Like, he's your safety valve for a rookie. What I talked about in the beginning of the year, like for a rookie quarterback, he's your release. Like, and he's a great tight end. He's like I feel like he's underrated and he doesn't get talked about enough. But like, also we don't use him ever, and it's really sad.
More of a malpractice that he's not getting talked about because he's not getting utilized.
Right.
And your point, in college, Caleb Williams coming out of college, he's comparison to Pat Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
So Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, like that's your go-to guy, who I know hasn't been necessarily him. He's gotten a little better of the last few weeks, but that's the game you need to be working on. I feel like move the pocket. If Darnell Wright or somebody on that right side doesn't stop him, then move the pocket left and keep DeAndre Swift back there, Roschon Johnson to help chip somebody. And
well, I don't understand half the time is why we're not in shotgun with a 2 running back set and keep Roschon in the backfield for an extra blocker here and there, or clip him with Kmet and then run his route, or keep him in until he feels like the pocket's clean enough and then release valve. Like, why is none of that happening?
I agree. It feels like a lot of the same stuff, which is like very vanilla, right? Like it wasn't nothing. I don't want to be like the Lions because we're not there. You know what I mean? As far as the chemistry of the team and stuff. But man, like how many screen passes can you call in one game?
Right. I do want to take a second. We just got a follow on Twitch, so I just want to say thank you to Mr. Potato Head 23.
Nice.
But just thanks for the follow. Going back to Justin Fields a little bit too. I did hear there is more hope about maybe getting our 4th again. They're scheming some plays for Justin and Russ to be playing. So I don't know how true it is, but that'd be fun.
This will look pretty good.
Yeah.
Look at vintage Russ a little bit.
That decision looked crazy. But
Tom, and I said it to one of our friends that's a Steelers fan. Shout out to Hunter. We literally he knows what he's doing, right? He's seeing what we're not seeing in practice. And Mike Tomlin ain't gonna go with Russ because he doesn't want to give up a fourth pick. You know what I mean? So
Right.
maybe it was his calf the whole time. And Justin was a great bridge
Yeah.
QB, which is kind of what he is, right? Would have been nice just to keep him this year and then let him go.
Right.
Get the free agent market, but again, we have Getsy 2.0 now, or we did until this week. So, also Bears doing it how Bears do. Why we release them on Tuesday and not Monday?
Yeah, that made no sense. The whole
Sunday, like,
well,
call them in their head.
Monday isn't. If you listen to Eberflus, though, Monday isn't his day to go on for the next week. It's Tuesday that resets. I was listening to the beginning broadcast for the game with all the guys on the radio, and they did the interviews with Poles and Eberflus. It honestly made me more irritated to listen to those.
No, I'm like, how is this? How is this guy? If he's making me Eberflus specifically, if he's making me this mad at his halftime interview, what is he doing in the locker room? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I feel like all the stuff that the commentators are talking about, like with like, oh man, this franchise has got to get it together. How did Washington turn it around in just a couple of years?
Right.
New owner, and this whole thing is looking different. How do we do that? We're not going to get rid of the owners because they're founding members.
Yeah.
Right. So, shout out for Jim McCaskey. If you could just leave the team to barely maintaining, we'll get this thing moving. Leave us like half of it.
Just be like the Packers and just be fan owned.
51%. It's barely maintaining. The McCaskey's gonna have 49%. We will get Ben Johnson,
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury, or all of them. Hey, Belichick, you want to come be defensive coordinator?
This is all
So-
just crazy amount of like money just spent on coaches.
Hey, you want a piece of the franchise? Here, you're 20% owner.
Yeah.
Brady, you want to own two teams? Expectations for the game. You
Expectations for the game.
You think we can pull out a win here? And of course, anything can happen. I realize that we're probably not favorites in this game.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on it. And I think where I'm having the trouble is did this do enough to bring the team back together? And if it is, then I could see the team. I could see us winning. Like the talent's there, and if we did a good enough job, I could see us winning. But that feels like it's not going to happen. We are. The Packers are 5.5 point favorite.
I just said.
Oh,
Just looking at DraftKings.
yeah.
7.5 point favorites. Definitely going with under 40 here.
Yeah, I think 17-10 Packers, unfortunately.
Oh, 27-13 Chicago Bears.
Really? I would
This gets moving.
be so excited. You can't even say it with a straight face though.
I'll feel better here. I'm just hoping Alabama keeps rolling at this point. Ball's got the Chargers rolling. I'm trying not to get my hopes up because, man, they did it to us again.
Yeah.
We look good going into that bye week, man.
Yeah. And
Now
everything
we
fell
have-
apart.
Eberflus is about ready to lose his job. His two girls are probably bawling their eyes out because the fans are just screaming "Fire Eberflus" the whole game, and I know they're sitting up
Yeah.
in a box because they were on Hard Knocks or whatever. So
Yeah. But
Family has
also they seem like they know nothing about football in Hard Knocks.
nothing about guys who know about offensive football for sure.
Speaking on Alabama, we did have a chat. Nick Saban, 2025 Bears coach.
Nick Saban won't, but can't afford him anyway.
He's fun on game day.
Honestly, to me, it's the chemistry of him and Pat McAfee, the kind of straight solid guy and the over the top kind of wild man together.
Because they definitely didn't get along in the beginning, but like that was not they didn't get along. It was they didn't click very well, and then I think Nick Saban's kind of learning to just be like more joking and take like you don't have to be so serious about football anymore.
Right, and I think I think that was part of it. Like to me, Nick Saban, that dry sense of humor. They're like, dive into that a little more.
Yeah.
Instead of it seeming more like you said, like you're just serious about football. Because
Yeah.
I think he's snarky at the beginning, but not as much as he kind of is now, and playing into that like I'm your dad and you're my son that's out of control.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. Yeah. Waiting for that. It was a crazy tumultuous week in college football again. Alabama's back in the top 10. I always talk about how good SEC is versus Big Ten, and most of the playoff is 10, and all four. I think a lot of the top 5 is all Big Ten now, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, SEC keeps taking themselves out.
Yeah, for sure. But also like,
but I always feel like that's
Big Ten teams stepping up. The Oregon, Indiana, and
I feel like that's what Big Ten and SEC always does, though, is they always just like it could be all Big Ten or all SEC, but they all just beat the crap out of each other, so only a few make it to the top. Obviously, your Ohio State, your Alabama, your Georgia, stuff like that are always going to be at the top, but
new playoff makes it interesting, though.
Yeah,
it does give Big 12, ACC schools an opportunity to kind of be competitive at the last stages there.
Hunter Sanders in chat just put in a Illini, but we don't really need to.
We'll see. Tostito or cotton cheese it some bowl.
I was looking at the Iowa schedule for next year. I mean, next year, dude, 4.5 wins is very would be lucky if we play like we continue to play.
Really?
Yeah, it's unpleasant.
I don't. As far as Alabama goes, it's like just depends on which team we are that way.
Yeah, like I was.
We're either
expecting
good or really bad. Like there's no in between.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not
teams and then really bad against the bad teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think they definitely. You mentioned before there was like a discipline and like kind of a maturity issue, and I think that's gotten solved a little bit. It kind of calmed things down.
Yeah. Nick Saban came back a little bit and was like, "Hey, you should get there."
Okay. I just wearing all of his rings.
Do you want these?
So yeah, we both expect a Packers win, just like the whole world, I assume. But 5.5 isn't that much, right?
Right. Well, and the Packers look beatable. Like it said, if our team is got it together, they are beatable. It's just right now I have no hope.
We got to score early and play from out front.
Yeah,
because that defense and Jordan Love having to push the ball down the field, I think that matters.
Yeah,
for success. And long drives, long offensive drives. Come away with at least the field goal repeatedly. Because, like I said, we had a drive earlier this season that was half of a quarter. So you got a couple of those, man. Business.
Yeah.
Just leave any opportunity for them to. That's the other thing. Even when we're playing good, there's always seems like, other than maybe that Jaguars game, an opportunity for the other team to kind of fight back in at the end. Just like last year when we had the Lions, we had a bunch of teams on the ropes and they still came back and beat us. This is also why I'm not sold on Eberflus, because he just doesn't have that Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba killer mentality, to finish a game, destroy a team. I want a stomp on people. Why can't we do that? Where I can go put the laundry in and take a snack and come back in the fourth quarter. And
my two football teams have the same style of coach right now.
All brakes, no gas.
Yeah. It's
I'm gonna ride these
unfortunate.
brakes, man. I'm 2 foot of driving
Yeah.
here. So that being said, do you have player stat trivia for this week?
I sure do. Let me pull it up here. So last week we
Last
had
week.
some fun ones here.
They're
So
all fun ones, to be honest.
the first one was played at Baylor University, 1,488 tackles, 7 interceptions, 12 fumbles, recoveries, 19 sacks. Was picked 38 of the 1981 draft. Brother was killed in an accident from the coal stove, and his father figure died from the 6-car accident. Super Bowl champ, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, 7-time first team All-Pro, and 10-time Pro Bowl, and the TSL champion as a coach. Did you know who that one was?
I had my sheet written down. No, I did not.
Mike
did not.
Singletary.
That was Mike Singletary. I mentioned Mike
Yeah.
Singletary on the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Actually,
You put
And then I
Mike
realized- because you said Baylor and stuff that. So I did come around to that one after, I think, because I mentioned it for another guy.
Yeah.
Uh.
The second one was played at Pittsburgh. NFL stats were 427 receptions, 5,812 yards, 43 touchdowns, Super Bowl champ, NFL champ, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Team, or first All-Team Pro, and 5-time Pro Bowler. Was 3 NFL teams as a player, and 3 NFL teams as a coach. Has his own Vienna beef sausage that was 8 inches long and 1/3 pound. And was arrested of a DUI returning from a game against San Francisco. That is Mike Ditka.
That was Mike. Oh, Mike Dick has sausages. 8-inch homewrecker. That's hilarious.
And the last one for last week.
Also, funny movie, soccer movie.
Something Stripes, right?
I don't know. I'll tell you.
I feel like because it was
Really funny, and I was impressed with his acting
Yeah.
chops.
because he was the jerk
Really
neighbor,
himself- Yeah.
Will Ferrell's neighbor, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah, kicking and screaming. That's yeah.
I think I said stripes because the Will Ferrell's coaching outfit was like striped down the side. And the last one for last week was played at Columbia, 2nd overall pick in 1939. 180 of 376 for 2,413 yards, 20 touchdowns. Only 1 year at Columbia. Technically played at that new college for the education of teachers, which was their undergrad school. Finished 3rd in Heisman voting. And then between 1943 and 1946 was serving in the U.S. Merchant Marine. It was not allowed to practice with the team, but allowed to play games. Won 4 NFL champions and won the Joe F. Carr Trophy, which was the NFL MVP trophy before it was that. And then retired, was the Bears vice president and their first ever quarterback coach, which was a part-time position for the Bears, and then went to work his way through Cellucraft, a cellophane product in which he became their president. That is Mr. Sid Luckman.
I was gonna guess because of the time period, and there's like nobody else I know from that time period. No, I did not know that one.
All
Cellophane
right.
thing, serious.
Yeah. This week, I got one legend in here, and then some 2 guys that actually played with each other. So we're on the same team. So actually, one threw the ball to the other. So a little early hint there.
Defensive guys.
So the first one here is he was signed to the University of Minnesota after coach Clarence Spears, who had originally driven to International Falls to meet another player. On the outside of town, he watched the man out plowing a field without assistance. According to legend, Spears asked him for directions, and the man lifted his plow and used it to point. Then he joined the NFL in 1930 and played till 1937. Only played for the Chicago Bears. In 1943, when the Bears lost many players to World War II, he came out of retirement and played a season and helped them win the 1943 title. He had the largest recorded NFL championship ring at size 19.5 and wore a size 8 helmet. It was also a major box office.
7.
Yeah.
17?
19.5.
Ah,
Just
gotta mine
ginormous
a
hands.
find a new gold mine just for that ring.
He was also a major box office attraction as a professional wrestler. And then following his retirement from wrestling, he returned home to International Falls and opened a service station. A local legend claimed that he had the best repeat business in town because he would screw customers' gas caps on so tightly after filling the tanks that no one else could unscrew them, so they had to come back to him.
Well, his hands were probably the size. So,
Any
AirPod.
ideas?
no, but
No? I almost said it in this because I didn't pull out the name of it, so that's pretty. Almost just gave it away.
There's some names kind of bouncing around in there that I can't grab because of the professional wrestler thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought that one
'cause
would give it away, to be honest.
me and my grandpa like religiously watched wrestling back when I
Yeah.
was a little kid. There's some old timers that I can kind of remember.
All
A
right.
16.5 ring is insane.
Yeah, 19.5, and then a size 8. All right. I was going to look up average helmet size.
Because sausages.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I thought I had a big one, and mine's like an 11 or a 12. So,
Them sausage fingers. It's a hot dog.
yeah, that's crazy.
Little
That's
girl
a-
hands, I guess.
That's a Dick Buckus sausage. So these next two actually played together, and one threw the ball to the other. So the first one went to Michigan State University. His college career, he was 14 and 24. He recorded 452 completions out of 718 attempts. 4,844 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 28 interceptions. He was a 178th overall pick in the 1994 NFL Draft. Was on 8 NFL teams, and he was actually the first quarterback to be suspended in the NFL for violating its substance abuse policy.
Really?
Yeah.
Michigan State. I got somebody.
Yeah. I honestly didn't remember this player. He was kind of a backup for most of his career, so. But then the next guy here is started at El Camino Junior College in Torrance, California, but did not end up playing there. He then went to USC as a quarterback, but converted to wide receiver. His college stats are 71 receptions for 1,004 yards, 6 touchdowns, 80 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 99 passing yards, 136 returns for 2,330 return yards and 3 return touchdowns. He was 7th overall in the 1993 NFL Draft. Was on 4 NFL teams. He was the first Chicago Bears receiver to record back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and married the daughter of Muhammad Ali.
Layla.
Yep.
Layla Ali, I believe, is her name.
Yes, I believe.
And name his kids like Georgia Foreman. Georgia Foreman. I do not know.
Really? I'm surprised you don't know that one.
I'm not confident on this one at all. There's a couple guys. I know this. I mean, I know this time period. So
Yeah, I was gonna say these two are like right in your main fandom there. I would say, not that you're not a big fan now, but like when you were like progressively watching as a kid.
yeah, I think so. So, that is this week's First Stat Trivia. That being said, what do you have for this week's Pick'em games and how we do last week?
You went 4-0 again.
Wow.
So I just cannot catch up at this point. Just keep- but yeah, I had one game that I won and I lost the other 3 because I picked the same game as you. So for this week, we're gonna We're gonna do the Colts at the Jets.
Oh man,
Yeah, this one's tough. I honestly don't know who to pick in this one.
I'm gonna go Jets because you told me Anthony Richardson, and I just don't trust him. He leads the league in not completing passes.
Yeah.
And that's in the league with Caleb Williams, who gets sacked every single play.
Yeah.
57 times in a Patriots game. Patriots had 16 sacks the whole season. They had 9 against us. So now they look like an elite defense because it's one game against the Bears.
For gamesmanship, I'm going to pick the Colts because I think Alex Pierce gets some crazy deep passes, and Anthony Richardson tries to show off for the rest of his career.
They still have Jonathan Taylor, do they not?
Yeah, they do. I feel like he has been really quiet this year, though.
The Jets are just the Jets.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm going to pick them. I don't trust Anthony Richardson. I just don't yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can't trust either of those teams.
I think he's got the longest arm in the league. Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers lost that step, and that changed his game. You know what I mean? As far as him in the pocket and stuff, kind of what he used to do.
But I feel like he doesn't believe it's hurt at all, and still thinks he's the guy that is the best guy in the entire world, which I get you kind of want from your.
I think that's the problem. Like when you get older too, is you don't know that lost a step, even though it's kind of obvious to everybody else. You know what I mean? So he probably run as hard as he ever did, even harder, and it's he's getting tackled now though.
Yeah,
falling off the field like a little baby.
Second game here is Ravens at Steelers.
Ooh, good matchup.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun game to watch.
I'm gonna go Ravens.
You gonna go Ravens?
Yeah,
I'm back and forth in this game as well. Ravens. The Ravens just worry me because for some reason in big games lately they just haven't been showing up, and then other big games they do show up, and it's like you can't compete with them.
Yeah, they're the yin to the yang of the Chiefs, right?
Yeah,
the Chiefs, those lucky ones, they are one toe out of bounce from winning those games.
Yeah.
Kind of. So you're talking me out of it, but I'm going to stay with the Ravens are on the road. Steelers are a good coach team. I mean, I would like to say they're not, but they are. Tomlin at least will win you enough games to keep his job.
Yeah, and usually get into the playoffs too. Like,
at least, I mean, they're leading that division. Oh,
yeah.
And with all the controversy they had that people are talking about on quarterback and stuff, I think they're actually a viable team. But the Ravens are playing their playoff life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a huge step in getting there. I think they have more talent.
Yeah.
In their offense.
I'm gonna go Steelers. I like their defense, and Russell Wilson's finding a way to win the game. What was that?
Najee. Two Alabama running backs, Najee versus Derek here. So
yeah. Which you won't see Derek until the second half for whatever reason.
Yeah, you get it twice, okay? But we're saying, and then I want you to run every single play. Like maybe just spread that out a little more.
Yeah. Third game is another great game. Chiefs at Bills. I'm going to take the Bills. I think Chiefs go down this week.
Ooh. Just to be the opposite, I'm going to go Chiefs, but I agree with you. I think the Bills are the team that has to do it.
Yeah. And I like that it's at Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah, and they got, I mean, there's probably going to be weather, and they got, and this is one of the hills that they have to overcome to be a champion, I feel like. So
I mean, this is where Josh Allen's got to, Josh Allen's got to get over this hump. This is the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady hump. Like, this is the hump that he's got to get over.
Yeah. So I agree.
Last game here is Bengals at Chargers.
Bengals at Chargers.
Yeah, this is the one I was also. Go ahead.
I'm going to go Chargers.
Chargers?
At home. Strictly. Joe Burrow he's my fantasy quarterback on both teams. And it's crazy because the guy balls out every single week.
Yeah.
Doesn't win those games.
Yeah.
Chargers
look good too.
I think I trust their coaching a little more.
Yeah.
Just Harbaugh. I mean, the Harbaugh pedigree. Just they know how to win games.
Yeah.
At home, Justin Herbert's been protected. It seems like a little better.
Yeah.
Got the running going.
Yeah, they do not want to protect Joe Burrow.
Oh, and they don't have a running game. They saw Khalil Herbert got thrown in for one play and fumbled it immediately.
Oh,
First
well,
play.
maybe that's why we.
And then he was on the bench. It was like, okay, that makes me feel better.
Like, I want you to do good, but also.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad handoff. It was his fault, really. They blamed it on Burrows or whoever, but
I wanted to pick the Bengals, but you're talking me into the Chargers.
they have no running game. It's on,
Yeah.
that scares me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Chargers here, too, I
They're
think.
kind of piecing it together. Did you see that Ngaku got a job, or however you say that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, he's on the Patriots now.
Oh.
He just didn't get to play this week.
Oh. I did not see that.
It's a revenge game for him.
Yeah, well, he didn't even have to come off the bench to friggin' get payback.
All right. Well, that being said, let's move on to Fanatics. Let's tell them Fanatics got.
Guys, just want to take a break from the podcast to tell you about Fanatics. At Fanatics, you can find everything you need to support your team, from jerseys and hats to hoodies and accessories. They've got it all. It's officially licensed, so you know you're getting the real deal. Here's the best part. We've teamed up with Fanatics to bring you an exclusive offer. When you use the code 24SHIP at checkout, you'll get free shipping on orders over $24. By using our special link in the show notes on our website, you'll be able to directly support our podcast. So head over to fanatics.com, up the best Bears gear, and use code 24SHIP for free shipping on orders over $24. Win-win. You get to show off your Bears pride and help keep Barely Maintaining going strong. Thank you for your support, and as always, bear down. Let's get back to
And we're back. Remember, check out Fanatics, Good Threads, Happy Can, all of them. Keep this podcast going. And tell all your local companies to Acme Construction, Jim Stowing, anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I put an interesting one this week. Just some kind of defensive players for our start bench cut. Just to kind of make it interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even see this, so I don't even know it's...
So it is Montez Sweat, Ron Dexter, and TJ Edwards. Kind of all defensive line-ish. And I put some stats up there. So Montez Sweat has 3.5 sacks. Javon Dexter actually has 4 sacks. And then TJ Edwards, our leading solo tackler at 42 tackles. Getting rid of who's starting and who's benched. I will tell you mine is currently I am starting Javon Dexter and benching Montez Sweat.
Really?
And I have to get rid of TJ Edwards in this case. Just because it's difficult. I mean,
Yeah. For me, I actually...
we have finding linebacker guys or outside linebacker guys versus inside defensive linemen as far as drafting and free agency. So
Yeah, that's fair.
my thought.
But I feel like so I actually find this really easy. So I would go Montez Sweat is who I'm starting. Benching is TJ Edwards and cutting is Dexter. I feel like Dexter is getting his shine because Montez Sweat is getting...
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm starting him is because he is getting that shine right now.
Plus TJ Edwards actually was the only highlight last week with the interception.
Yeah. And he, he's like that, kind of like a consummate bear, that like unspoken defensive guy that's always everywhere, like
This whole
Jack Sanborn.
linebacking core is.
Yeah.
The kind of linebacker you want.
I didn't realize how much we would miss Billings on that line, though.
Yeah. It's
Man is like a Vince Wilfork run crusher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of space.
Yeah.
Just
a big man.
We have a big game this week. It's finally our first game in division, so we'll have that to talk about next week. Of course, we will do our player stat trivia. Talk about this week's pick'em games, and we're getting closer to a playoff. Somebody's wearing a tutu.
Yeah.
For for our barely maintaining fantasy league. I have rebuilt my team probably 2 or 3 times and have maintained wins by
Dude,
doing that.
I can't figure out how to get Christian McCaffrey off the IR. It won't let me.
Weird.
Yeah, it's locked him on there.
Well, you have to drop a player basically because you can't put somebody else on the.
I opened it up for him. I did that, and then I go into manage IR, and it will not let me take him off of there. So I have to mess with it again and see if it'll.
They don't have the brakes on him either.
No, they ran him quite a bit.
Yeah, he caught he didn't do like a ton of he didn't get a bunch of yards with the runs he got, but
Yeah.
he got like 68 or 60 yards, some yards on passes. So
Best
he's
thing about him though is, he just makes you scared. Like he's just got one more thing in that offense you got to worry about.
well. What defense do you line up when you move Christian McCaffrey to a slot and put Debo in the backfield?
Right? Yeah.
You're putting a linebacker on Christian, on Debo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have a matchup nightmare.
Yeah. That's almost where you have to put like a Kyler Gordon in. Like he has to be one of your linebackers.
No, okay, they can move that around.
Yeah.
So it's like how do you game plan that? I think if you pass more to Swift, past the line of scrimmage, not green passes, similar to Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
the catch in space and run stuff. But it's better than Christian McCaffrey this year so far. I'll tell you that.
It's an interesting week in sports in general. Do you see we got Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson on Friday?
Who you got there?
I think it's scripted where Mike Tyson's going to win. I think the script is going to be Mike Tyson won, and it took a legend to knock out Jake Paul.
And it was like all the rounds or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going Mike Tyson. Just that's what I want to happen really bad.
I want it to be like one punch and Jake Paul just falls.
like Glass Joe and Mike Tyson's punch out the first day you meet. I'll just.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah, it's funny how YouTube star has what saved boxing essentially because boxing, to me, I would much rather watch MMA because it's like that one arm of
big fight there too. John Bones Jones is fighting again this weekend.
Yep. And I think he is kind of arguably the sport's best, right? So
yeah. Because he's always stuck around at least.
But that's a young man's game, so there's somebody up and coming that's gonna knock him off the throne eventually.
Yeah. Then we got some hockey and stuff going on, but yeah, I got no Hawkeye game, so
basketball's just getting up and going. Start seeing some competitiveness in that. Unfortunately, the Bulls aren't exciting to talk about either.
What is their record? I haven't even see. They're winning
I don't
now.
Know. They're always playing around, man, with their.
They're 4-7. They're winning 90-68 against the Nets. Or Knicks. I'm sorry, Knicks.
Knicks supposed to be a good team.
They're 5-5, so.
Yeah. So next week, episode 20, our 20th episode. That means we've been doing this for 5 months now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster ride, Bears.
Yeah.
So thank
we were so excited.
Of our listeners, of course, everyone that's tuning in live tonight, our first live episode. Hopefully, many more of those. Sweet dreams to Richard, and thank you for letting us live rent free. That one commenter that he sees this and
funny is this gets put on his thread or something, and he's like, "What the?"
Make sure you tune in or check us out on all social media links to see all the follow-up videos and commentary. And of course, tune in when there's news because Ryan's really good about announcing that stuff when it comes out. We got a big week to see if we're new, improved, the same old thing. Oh, next week we'll talk about it.